After 7 o'clock p.m. time to give shout out, it's 7:10 p.m.
Hello! West Alameda! It's after 7 o'clock. It's time to give a shout out and thank you to all the frontline and the essential workers, to the doctors, the nurses, the longshoremen, the bus drivers, the truck drivers, the farm workers, those who work in the stores, the hotels, the restaurants, the counselors, postal employees, the teachers, parents. So please, you hear my voice? You clap your hands, honk your horns, shout, make some noise!
Arriving at his new digs just a short while ago.
He used to villas, penthouses, mansions, chauffeur-driven limousines, but today it was a long ride on a bus.
From the time Bernie Madoff confessed until he went to...
Oh, you know, when you old, you be grunting. How y'all doing, Facebook? So, today is day 385, and it's April 20, or it's April 20, or for those of you who acknowledge it's 420. But anyway, whether you go by 420 or April 20th, that is today's date. And as far as coronavirus pandemic live on YouTube, as of 6:30, this is how many people have died from coronavirus throughout the world on 420. This is of that number right there. This is what it is here in the United States. And I finally was able to catch up. This is how many it is right here in the state of California. Now that date up there above, April 6, 2020, again, that's the date for last year on April 6th, 1 year and 14 days ago, and that's how many it was at that particular time. And right here in the United States, April 6, 2021, this is what it was 14 days ago. And that's how far we've moved, gone up. Right here in the United States. And on April 6, 2021. So, I want to ask everybody to say, give prayers and keep in your thoughts all those who have died from coronavirus, the 3 million plus in the world, and the 582,000 plus here in the United States. And also to, let's remember those who work on the front line, those frontline workers, those essential workers. And I think that at some point people are like, why are we still doing this? Or maybe you're questioning, why am I still doing it? Because now that we have the COVID vaccine, and things are starting to open back up, especially here in California, and a lot of people have decided to not wear masks anymore. Um, so that's like a preference. Some people have chosen not to even get a vaccine shot. I'm one of those who did take the vaccine shot, but that's my choice. And for those of you who have not, that's your choice. That's your preference. I understand that. I mean, that's on you. And those of you who don't wear a mask, that's you too. I can't, I'm not going to judge nobody who chooses not to, as long as you try not to get all up on me and stuff like that. That's just my own preference. But why am I still doing it? Because I think it's important that we say thank you anyway. Even like if the battle's over, it's like you still want to say thank you, because people have died, and those frontline workers was out there right in the middle of the pandemic when people were dying way more than what's going on right now. So I want to always be able to say thank you. The other thing is I'm superstitious. It's just kind of like, I'm gonna keep on doing this. I don't know. I don't know when I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep on doing it. That's all I can say. I'm superstitious. It is what it is. I don't look at scary movies. I like zombies, and I like Godzilla and King Kong and Jurassic Park type stuff like that, but supernatural stuff, I'm not down with no supernatural stuff like Exorcist with the head turning all around, and nah, I ain't gonna do all that. So yes, I am superstitious, but I'm gonna keep on doing this, regardless of whether people think I'm stupid or crazy or whatever. But that is what it is. And I guess maybe what I did today was kind of stupid or crazy, depending on how you look at it. But I went down to Santa Clara and Park Street, took my flag, my African liberation flag, and took a George Floyd poster, went down to the corner of Park and Central, right across the street from Pete's Coffee House and Starbucks Coffee, and there's this pizza place right there, and I stood in the street with the flag and the George Floyd sign. That was like my thing to celebrate the fact that, well, let me turn this around. To celebrate the fact that Derek Chauvin was guilty on all 3 counts. They found him guilty on not 1, not 2, but all 3 counts. And what I wrote on here is, finally someone is held accountable. That's, that movie Waiting to Exhale. So it's kind of like, I really did want him to be found guilty. Geronimo, what's going on? How you doing, son? I really did want him to be found guilty. And, but because the system is the system and the way it is, I was just hoping that they would find him guilty. And I was hoping that they would find him guilty on the major charge and not the lesser charge, because the lesser charge would have been 10 years, and because of who he was and everything, he probably would have only had to do 4 years. So when they said all 3 counts, it was just like amazing. And to celebrate the fact that a cop, well, now they call him an ex-cop because they fired him, was being held accountable for the murder of George Floyd. I went down by myself, stood on the corner for about an hour, from about 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, holding my flag and my George Floyd poster. And I have to say that there were people that honked the horn, And I put it on Facebook too, so if anybody look at you and check it out, I had it on Facebook. People was honking the horn. People was like, give me the clenched fist, and people walking by on the street sidewalk will say, yeah, stuff like that. But I have to also say that I was surprised because there was a lot of people who I thought or I assumed would, honk their horns or put the fist up or acknowledge the fact that Derek Chauvin was guilty, but they didn't do it. Okay. They did not do it. But then there was other people who I did not think would honk the horn or acknowledge George Floyd and all that, who did. And I had an interesting conversation with a black woman. She walked up to me and she said, I commend you for standing out here by yourself alone, holding up your sign and all that. So I'm thinking, okay, she's supporting what I'm doing. And then she said, do you know who George Floyd is? I was like, yeah. And she said, well, he was a bad person. He was a rapist, and he did this, and he did that, blah, 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 and all this stuff about, what a bad person he was. So I tried to explain to her it wasn't so much about George Floyd as the fact that it was the system and about the police being held accountable. And she was going on to a tirade. And I'm not going to argue with her. I wish I would have had it on my, I wish I would have had the conversation on Facebook, recording it, but I didn't at that time. And, but yeah, it was real strange. So I just let it go. It's like, I'm not going to argue with people when they think that what they think, especially when it's, when Negroes, Malcolm X said there was like house Negroes and field Negroes. So I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Yeah, it was a house Negro. But she was trying to be nice about it. And she said, okay, I like what you're doing by yourself, Bob, but, George Floyd's a bad person. I'm like, all right, cool, thank you. And I let it go because I'm not going to argue with nobody out on the street. But I was satisfied and happy that so many other people did honk the horn and, put the clenched fist up and, said they like it. A lot of white allies did it. Surprisingly, some of my black brothers and sisters just totally ignored me. But that's okay. I understand why they do. But it is what it is. Hey, Geronimo, how did you get your fingers swole up, infected like that? I'm gonna call you when I get off this thing, son. Hope you're okay, man. They ain't gonna cut your finger off on it. All right, I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you, son. No, hey, I'm gonna call you as soon as I get off this. All right. So who is Aunt Emma? All right, I'm gonna leave that alone, Auntie Emma. I don't know who that is, son. Okay, so prayers and thoughts. Hey, Deshaun. Prayers and thoughts are going out today to, let me turn this around. Prayers and thoughts are going to the district attorney for the fact that they prosecuted Derek Chauvin. Normally the DA is not on our side. When I say our side, I'm saying the side of the people. They're normally on the side of the police. They're like, they go hand in hand with the police. And because that's the so-called judicial system. And I say so-called because I've always said that justice is spelled Justice for them and JUSTUS, just us, when it comes to our people. But in this case, I want to give props and I want to say gratitude and thank you to the district attorney, to the mayor, the chief of police, and all of them, and to the trial witnesses. You know, the fact that the police dispatcher, she saw what was going on the camera, and she let her sergeant know. She told her sergeant, you know, I ain't trying to be no snitch, but I think you need to check this out. And she said that. So that was, you know, she decided that what she saw was more important than her being called a snitch. The chief of police coming out and saying what he had to say. The woman who was the firefighter, okay, a white woman firefighter, you know, she came over there and she got on trial. In fact, she even had a little argument with the judge and stuff, telling the judge, well, I'm just telling you what I saw. It's like, the judge like, no, you don't say nothing except for when you being asked a question. All the people who stopped the little 9-year-old girl, the martial arts artist who was talking to the police, and all the bystanders, the ones that the defense attorney tried to say they was a mob. I've seen mobs and I've seen people, you know, acting crazy when it comes to the police, and that was not it. None of them was doing that. So, you know, that was stupid for the defense attorney saying all that. That didn't make no sense. So every witness that came on there, and, you know, props to George Floyd brother for, you know, getting up there and, you know, giving his testimony, and his you know, it's not testimony. You know, when you give your, you know, when you present your thing on the stand. I forgot what it's called, much as I should know about that. I forgot. And then I want to also commend the jury. Like, it was 7 or 8 of the jury was white, and they saw right away that it wasn't right, and because it had to be unanimous, and every one of them, you know, gave the unanimous decision that yes, he was guilty. So my props and thanks to all of them, because that was great. Now, they probably gonna catch some flack. You know, the Trump people, the white supremacists, Fox Network, they're gonna catch flack. All of these, they're gonna catch flack. They're gonna talk that craziness, but I still say thank you and commend them for taking the stand that they did and the jury looked at the facts. You know, they looked at people's testimony, and I keep saying testimony. Is that the right word? When I think testimony, I'm thinking of testimony like in church. But anyway, they looked at all the facts, and that's what they came up with. So, you know, to them, I'm saying yes, thank you so much. Birthday greetings. It's 420. That was a hell of a birthday present, 420, about the guilty verdict for Derek. So I'm going to leave all that alone, y'all. Geronimo, I'm going to call you, man, because I sure hope you're going to be okay, son. And let me give my little shout out. Y'all see I didn't blow the whistle and I didn't blow the horn because that neighbor was tripping. Well, for one thing, I said I wouldn't blow the horn when my grandchildren ain't here. My grandson was here last night. We blew it one time. That's what I had told her I was going to do. And then I said I would only blow the whistle 3 times. The problem was I didn't have my whistle in my pocket. So I wasn't going to go back and go get the whistle. It's all good. So here we go, y'all. Mabuhay! Amandla! Hokahe! Harambe! Ashe! Que viva! Jayu! Wakanda forever. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. I know mahalo. I know I'm forgetting some, but hey, when you get old, you can always give that I'm old, I forgot. You can always do that. So if I forgot to say something, it's because I'm old, and that's what I did. I see you over there, Paulette. Right on. Thanks for showing up here. Hey, everybody. Prayers and thoughts for you and your family members and your loved ones and your friends, and prayers and thoughts for anybody who's going through emotional, physical, mental stress, people who had to go to the hospital for things that has nothing to do with coronavirus, just people going through stuff. And y'all pray for my son, because I hope, he said his finger's all infected, so I hope it's going to be good. I was playing when I said I hope they don't cut it off, but that's just like stupid, idiotic, dumb ass humor. I don't even think that's humor. You're not supposed to joke about stuff like that. Son, I'm sorry. I hope your finger's gonna be all right, son. I hope you're gonna be okay. I will call you as soon as I get off of this. Everybody stay safe, stay strong. And I was wearing my mask. I did that. Okay. One love, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.